Hello and welcome to another episode of Creating Cultures That Outperform. I hope you've been following this series, How to Motivate People Without Money. We're actually on the fifth episode, so we're going to talk about recognition. Super important. I think that, everybody should understand what these five methods are. We're going to be going through two more. We're following this by reward and then helping build up people's self-esteem. And I think that is the outcome of all of this, is that people end up with a high level of self-esteem. If you missed it, we talked in episode one about achievement. We moved on to giving them influence, respect, creating impact for them. And ultimately, here's recognition. This is a very important topic. Most leaders, they don't understand how to really do that great spontaneous recognition, to play up an event, to get people together for an exciting announcement, to talk about what happened and the great roles people played, almost like reviewing a sports game. Did you see this play at this time? And I think every leader should build those skills, because I was able to do that many times. Town halls, just extemporaneously go off and think about how to thread a story together about who were the key players, what did they do, how did they do it. People love that, whether you're on Zoom or together in an office building, hybrid work, whatever. You've got to recognize great achievement. You got to recognize simple achievements, but not overdo it by any means. Tara?
Right. That's right. And one of the big keys in recognition programs, we think about programs and we think we've got to spend money. We think that this has got to be a long, drawn out process to do analysis. But really, recognition that I've found most meaningful has been the heartfelt recognition where it just kind of happened one on one, or it happened in a group setting, but a manager or somebody in a position of power said, "Hey, you did a great job." And they verbally said something, or, something that has just kind of gone to the wayside in our way of living, but writing a handwritten note.
Oh, huge, huge.
Handwritten notes speak volumes to people because they know that not everybody does it anymore, right? So,
They don't
when
do it.
was
Yeah.
the last time you actually wrote a note to somebody? There was a time when that was the only way you could communicate with people. But now to have handwritten thank you cards, it's huge. It really does mean a lot to the person that
Yeah.
receives that card to know that you took time to not just have somebody write it for you or type something up or send an email. All of those are great methods as well for recognition. But to actually send a handwritten note, it will absolutely be meaningful for
Oh,
people. And
huge.
knowing things that that person likes, so you can attach with that handwritten note. Maybe it's just a small token of appreciation with a Starbucks gift card, or something
Yeah.
small. But I know we're talking about things that don't cost money, but I would focus in on, just how can I make this whole experience meaningful for this person, knowing them specifically, not just doing something blanket for the team, but knowing that person individually and providing that recognition to them personally.
Personally, I never used the note home enough. I did it, and I remember the person thanking me. I spent a lot of time. I crafted a beautiful note, talked about all they had done, and you're a star. I don't know, had some paper like you're a star or something. And this guy was able to share it with his wife and kids at home. Hey, look what happened. Came in the mail. So it was very different. And that was more valuable than anything. In the spotlight, in their own house. Wow, dad's great. Look what happened. They're sending this beautiful note home. And if you take time to craft a really nice note that's meaningful, thoughtful, impactful, really mentions what the person did in a way that's sincere. And there's so many great things people do. And I think oftentimes people miss, these little opportunities to really thank somebody in a unique way. And that stuff's great because it is kind of spontaneous. You didn't go out of your way and do it anytime. No
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah. And there are a lot of tools out there, even like with just your standard office tools. Most people have moved over to Teams, or you have some sort of platform where you do chat message, instant message type functionality. Send out a message, then broadcast it to the team that, hey, this person just did something really good, and brag on them.
Yeah.
Take time and put the spotlight on them. Teams has this function called praise, where you can send out praise messages to people and you send it to the entire group. So everybody gets to see that this person did something great. It's another way that it doesn't cost you money at all. You can just sit there and type a quick note and send them a praise in Teams or send
Yeah.
out an email. Sending an email really is a great way to recognize people, or
It
during your stand-up meetings, recognize people verbally, bring them up to the front, embarrass them a little bit.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
like the spotlight on them, but when people go over and beyond the call of duty, you as a leader have to take note of that and you have to say thank you. Um, that's another great way to
Yeah,
show
yeah,
that you appreciate, but saying thank you and then providing that extra step of what can I do to do more than just say thank you, but show thank you. So, how can I
yeah.
really show that I appreciate all of the hard work? That, you may have a team that's working late nights, they're up early. How can you show that team that you appreciate them?
Yeah, I remember it was probably 1984. We had just implemented a big system for CMA. CMA was like the premier product that was on fire back then. They had 1.5 million accounts. It was growing like crazy. Operations always need a lot of automation because of the speed of growth, and we had implemented some stuff. And I went over to Water Street up to the 36th floor. And as I walked in and got off the elevator heading to my business partner, I run into Joe Gambale, who actually ran operations. And he goes, Wander, grabs my hand with this really great shake, looks me in the eyes and goes, I got to tell you, I hear nothing but good things about what you're doing to help my people out. I sincerely appreciate it. And just that energy and that vibe that he used, I can remember to this day standing there just feeling great because he passed that energy over.
Yeah.
And it
It
matters.
makes you feel like $1,000,000 when
Yes, sir.
somebody says, "Hey, you did a great job," and they really mean it. So this is another area where you cannot fake it. You really do have to mean what you're saying if you
Gotta
want
mean it.
people to feel what you're doing. So, a lot of this, we try to take the feelings out of the workplace, but
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately, we are humans and we can't do
Yeah.
that. So you have to deal with the fact that people have feelings, emotions are involved. So, how can you use that to your advantage? And you want to make sure that you're always showing that appreciation, that you're
Yes.
always letting people know that they are valuable members of the team. Frank has a great way of doing that by just every time you talk to him, he's going to let you know that you are important.
Thank
The
you.
work that you're doing is important. You're a valuable member of the team. And that matters to people so much. You would be surprised how much it matters.
Yeah. And this guy was high up. So for him to actually come over, recognize me, know me, it was totally unexpected.
Yeah.
And that felt particularly good. He was a good guy, and he just had a way about him. It is kind of that energy that doesn't come.
Mhm.
It doesn't work at all if you just send an email or give somebody a $25 Starbucks card and hey, here, look, I want to thank you for what you did. No, this guy knew exactly what I did, what it meant, and he was really able to connect all the dots and lift me up. And it was a really because recognition is about exchanging that powerful vibe. It's raising organizational energy, motivating people, tapping drive. Org energy is everything in an organization, right? People should feel motivated, they should feel valued. And this is certainly an important way to drive levels of motivation higher. They come in beaming the next day. Wow, that's great. And it's a huge opportunity that people don't do right. They do little things, they don't go the way and invest the time to get real mileage, which they could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Another outlet these days, especially with so much social media, that's another great place to show recognition. Those times when you can spotlight an employee to show something that they did a great job with. It costs you nothing to go out and post a tweet or put something on LinkedIn
yeah,
or, any of the other social media sites. It takes 5 minutes. It's not a whole lot of time investment, but you can actually post it out there and let the whole world see that
yeah,
this person has done something great, that it was not just, an insignificant activity, but it was something very meaningful to you.
yeah. And that's huge. And so there's so many lost opportunities. People get caught up in tasks and activities and this human side, and using these different achievement needs to make people feel great. It is such a huge opportunity because you can motivate people without spending money. And money is actually in many ways bonuses stuff they found were a net demotivator, made people focus on that. And the Federal Reserve did a huge study. So money is not the motivator, it is achievement, getting your achievement needs met, being able to accomplish stuff, having influence. That's what really drives humans. They're social animals.
Yeah.
Want to sit up and be respected. And so, giving them the opportunity to have influence when they've earned it, pointing out to everybody what a great job they did. These are huge things. They are.
Yeah. Well, you want to feel like you made a difference, that I matter, that I have a voice and I
Yeah.
really matter, that, people care about what I'm doing and it's making a difference. It's making an impact on my workplace. Nobody wants to feel like they're insignificant and they don't matter. There's no value in the work that
Oh,
they're doing.
no,
Nobody wants to feel like that. So all of these little things you can do to motivate people and to encourage them along the way, it's just going to make their engagement even greater.
it is. So I think you should look at this series, listen to it. There's a lot of good tips, a lot of ideas, and you should put your own plan in place as a leader. What are the things that I'm not doing that I could be doing? How do I really use this as a tool and perfect it? Because you can. You could be
Yes.
a great motivational person in the office. Just try, you don't have to be perfect. Not everybody is going to be, one of these top motivational guys, but you'll get better at it. Give it a shot. And I think be vulnerable and do the best you can. You'll get better over time.
Yes. And we would love to hear your ideas, or if you need some ideas, reach out to us at coach at peopleproductive.com.
Yeah.
Follow us on social media. We love to hear your feedback, or if you need some support or you want some more ideas, we'd love to have some conversations with you to help you develop a plan
Yeah.
for recognition in your workplace.
That's right. Terry's a certified culture engineer, knows all this stuff. You could set your sights on being that too, because then you really are an expert on the human factors of leadership. And you can use these as tools to really make a much bigger impact. You can get, unlock the full potential of your organization. Most organizations are 110% busy, 50% productive. People are, quiet quitting. There's all sorts of stuff that goes on. It's always in the news. Engagement levels have not moved in 20 years. They're going to move 1 point. Gallup studies it. I mean, it's just a huge opportunity. This is a space that needs to be taken advantage of by every leader and every organization and every company. You can't not do it. You're just leaving so much money on the table, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
So listen, next week we're going to be covering reward. That's a tricky one because we know from the Federal Reserve study, if you focus on just reward, you're going to actually end up demotivating people. So we'll look at that study a little bit. We'll talk about it, and then we'll talk about, what reward is the appropriate way to do it. You certainly don't want to be creating feelings of inequality because you didn't think through the reward piece really well. It's probably more downside than upside, quite honestly. People mismanage it. You got to fight for your people, but we'll talk about it. So we'll see you next week.
Yes. Bye for now.
Goodbye.